Good evening, everyone. Let me start with a question. How many of you have noticed that your eyesight isn't quite what it used to be? Maybe you need brighter light to read. Maybe those road signs seem blurrier, or maybe you're waking up with eyes that feel dry, itchy, or tired. Well, here's the truth. We've been told for decades that eye problems are simply part of getting older, but that's not the whole story. The real story, what you eat before bed, yes. That last little snack you put in your body can either help your eyes repair and regenerate during sleep, or it can quietly speed up the decline in your vision. This isn't about magic pills, and it's not about some quick fix supplement. This is about biology. Your eyes, just like your brain and your heart, depend on nutrients and hormones that are regulated while you sleep. If you give your body the right fuel before bed, you can wake up with sharper vision, better hydration in your eyes, and even slower aging of the retina. So tonight, I want to show you why seniors eat this before bed isn't just a catchy headline. It's a powerful strategy to preserve the gift of sight. And trust me, the science backs it up. Most people think that what they eat in a day is just about the total calories or total nutrients consumed, but that's a half-truth. It's not just what you eat, but when you eat it, and nowhere is this more important than when we're talking about your eyes. Let me explain why. Your body is not a machine running on a steady stream of fuel 24/7. It's a rhythm-driven biological system, and every organ has its own circadian clock. Your liver, your pancreas, your brain, and yes, even your eyes function on a schedule. During the day, your eyes are working hard, focusing, processing light, filtering out harmful blue wavelengths, scanning text, and adapting constantly to different brightness levels. They're in performance mode. But at night, once you close your eyes, they switch into repair mode. This is when the retinal cells, the photoreceptors, and even the small capillaries around your eyes start going into maintenance. Here's the catch. If you don't give your body the right nutrients before that repair cycle starts, the eyes don't have the raw materials they need to fix themselves. It's like sending a construction crew to rebuild a bridge, but forgetting to deliver the steel and cement. They'll do their best with whatever scraps they have lying around, but the bridge is going to collapse a lot sooner. That's what happens with your vision when you go to bed depleted of the essential compounds that eyes depend on. Let me give you a more concrete example. The retina, the thin layer of tissue at the back of your eye that turns light into electrical signals, burns through more oxygen and energy than almost any other tissue in your body. Think about that. Per unit of weight, the retina consumes more fuel than your brain. It's like a sports car engine revving at top speed all day long. Now, at night, it finally gets a pit stop. The cells try to mop up the waste, flush out oxidized proteins, and rebuild their membranes. But here's the thing. If the right fatty acids, vitamins, and antioxidants aren't present in your bloodstream when that repair is scheduled, the retina simply can't do its job. That's why nutrient timing, what you eat before you sleep, is critical. Now, I'm not talking about stuffing yourself with a huge meal at 10 o'clock at night. Overeating late at night does the opposite. It spikes your blood sugar, stresses your insulin, and ironically makes your eyes worse. What I'm talking about is a targeted snack, a specific choice of foods that deliver nutrients when your body is in its repair mode. Imagine it like this. If you're going to refuel a car, you don't do it after the race. You do it right before the next lap begins. For your eyes, the next lap begins at night. Let's talk about melatonin for a second. You've heard of it. It's the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. But here's what most people don't know. Melatonin is also a potent antioxidant in the eye. It helps protect the photoreceptors from oxidative stress. But melatonin doesn't work in isolation. It needs other nutrients like magnesium, vitamin A, and omega-3 fatty acids to coordinate the repair process. If your evening food choices are a bag of chips or a cookie, you're basically telling your eyes, sorry, no tools for you tonight. On the other hand, if your snack is something like a handful of walnuts, some leafy greens blended into a smoothie, or a piece of salmon earlier in the evening, then your melatonin has partners in crime. Together, they put your eyes through an overnight tune-up. Now let's get a little more specific. Lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids, found in foods like kale, spinach, and egg yolks, are deposited directly into the part of your retina responsible for sharp central vision. They act like built-in sunglasses, absorbing harmful blue light. But here's the kicker: these compounds don't stay in your eyes forever. They get used up. At night, while your eyes are regenerating, they need to be replenished. If you have these nutrients circulating in your bloodstream before you go to bed, your eyes can bank them for tomorrow's work. If you don't, your macula is left vulnerable, and over time that contributes to age-related macular degeneration. So when I say nutrient timing matters, I mean it literally. Your eyes are like construction workers who only show up at night. They're ready to repair the damage from the day's exposure to sunlight, screens, and oxidative stress. But if you send them to the site with no bricks, no mortar, no scaffolding, well, you can guess what happens. The job gets cut short, the repairs are shoddy, and the whole structure, your vision, weakens over time. Here's the bottom line: seniors often think vision decline is inevitable, but the science tells us otherwise. If you line up your nutrient intake with your body's natural repair cycle, especially before sleep, you give your eyes the tools to hold on to clarity, sharpness, and focus much longer than you thought possible. Timing isn't everything, but when it comes to your vision, it's the difference between your eyes aging gracefully and your eyesight slipping away faster than it needs to. Let's talk about a word you've probably heard so many times, it almost sounds like marketing fluff: antioxidants. They're on every juice bottle, every supplement ad, every superfood headline. But when it comes to your eyes, especially as you age, antioxidants aren't just hype, they're lifelines. And here's the kicker: they matter most when your body is in repair mode at night. Think of your eyes like a camera. The retina at the back of your eye is the film, or in today's language, the sensor. That sensor gets bombarded all day long with light, especially high-energy blue light from the sun and your devices. Every time photons hit those retinal cells, it's like a tiny electrical storm. That's good, that's how you see. But here's the cost. Those little storms generate something called free radicals. Free radicals are like chemical shrapnel, damaging proteins, fats, and DNA in the very cells that let you see. Now, during the day, your eyes are just trying to keep up, filter the light, send the signal, adjust to brightness. There's no time for cleanup, but at night, when you're asleep, the janitorial crew comes in. This is when your body tries to mop up the free radicals, patch up the damage, and restore the balance. And who do you think the janitors are? Antioxidants. Without antioxidants in your system at night, those free radicals don't get neutralized. They linger, they accumulate, and over time they contribute to the very conditions most seniors dread: cataracts, macular degeneration, and even glaucoma. That cloudy vision, those dark spots, that trouble seeing at night, it's not just age, it's oxidative stress left unchecked. Now here's where it gets interesting. You've probably heard of lutein and zeaxanthin, those two yellow pigments in leafy greens and egg yolks. These aren't just antioxidants floating randomly in your body. Your eyes are so smart. They actually pull those compounds out of your bloodstream and deposit them directly into the macula, the central part of the retina that lets you read, recognize faces, and drive at night. They act like a shield, absorbing harmful blue light and quenching free radicals right where the damage happens. But here's the problem. Your body can't make lutein or zeaxanthin on its own. You have to eat them. And if you eat them in the morning but spend the rest of the day burning through your antioxidant stores, by the time night falls, your repair crew is understaffed. This is why timing matters. If you supply those antioxidants in the evening, they're circulating in your bloodstream right when your eyes start their repair cycle. It's like making sure the janitors clock in at the right shift. Let me give you another example. Vitamin C and vitamin E. These are the classic antioxidants, and studies have shown they slow the progression of age-related macular degeneration. Vitamin C is water-soluble, vitamin E is fat-soluble. They work together like a tag team. Vitamin C protects the watery compartments of your cells. Vitamin E protects the fatty membranes. Your eyes need both, and here's the catch. Vitamin C doesn't stay in your bloodstream very long. You need to top it up regularly. So if you're taking your vitamin C in the morning but not giving your eyes any at night, you're missing a crucial opportunity to let that antioxidant do its work during repair. Now let's talk about melatonin again. Yes, it's the sleep hormone, but it's also a built-in antioxidant specifically active in the eye. At night, melatonin levels naturally, which is your body's way of saying, okay, time for cleanup, but melatonin can't work alone. It needs backup from the nutrients you supply through food. Without enough antioxidants in your system, melatonin is like a lone janitor trying to clean up a stadium after a game. Impossible. But if you give it vitamin C, vitamin E, lutein, zeaxanthin, and even zinc, suddenly you've got a full cleanup crew. Here's where seniors often miss the mark. Many people assume, I eat a salad at lunch, I'm covered. Well, not quite, because by the time evening rolls around, those antioxidants are long gone, used up by the constant oxidative stress of the day. The retina is sitting there ready for its nightly repairs, and the toolbox is empty. That's when damage accumulates silently, night after night, until one day you notice you can't read the fine print on the prescription bottle. The good news is, this is fixable. You don't need exotic supplements or expensive pills. You just need to be intentional about your evening nutrition. A small portion of leafy greens, a few berries rich in anthocyanins, a handful of nuts or seeds for vitamin E, maybe some citrus or kiwi for vitamin C. Not a feast, just a smart snack that delivers the raw materials your eyes need right before bedtime. Let's make this concrete. Imagine two seniors. One eats a cookie before bed, the other eats a kiwi and a handful of walnuts. The cookie delivers sugar, which spikes insulin, increases oxidative stress, and starves the eye of the nutrients it needs. The kiwi and walnuts, they deliver vitamin C, vitamin E, healthy fats, and antioxidants that go straight to work while the person sleeps. Same age, same genes, two very different futures for their eyesight. So when I say antioxidants at night protect vision, I don't mean it's a suggestion. I mean it's the difference between letting oxidative stress eat away at your eyesight or giving your body the tools to fight back. Seniors don't have to accept that vision loss is inevitable. With the right fuel timed correctly, your eyes can stay clearer, sharper, and younger for longer than you've been led to believe. Let's be blunt. The number one toxin to your eyes isn't alcohol, it isn't tobacco, and it isn't even blue light from your phone. It's sugar. Yes, the same sugar hiding in your breakfast cereal, your dessert, and that healthy granola bar. And here's the part most people miss. The damage sugar does to your vision doesn't happen while you're awake and active. It happens at night while you're supposed to be repairing and restoring your eyes. Let me walk you through this. Your eyes are filled with some of the most delicate blood vessels in your entire body. These capillaries are thinner than a human hair, and they're responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to the retina and lens. But sugar doesn't play nice with delicate structures. When you flood your bloodstream with glucose, especially before bed, those tiny blood vessels get stiff, inflamed, and leaky. Over time, this leads to a condition we call diabetic retinopathy, but you don't have to be diabetic for it to happen. Even mild elevations in nighttime blood sugar can start that slow burn of damage. Now, why is nighttime such a critical period? Because while you sleep, blood flow to the retina actually increases. This is your body's way of ensuring your eyes get enough oxygen and nutrients during their repair cycle. But if your blood is sticky with sugar, the increased flow isn't delivering nutrition, it's delivering toxicity. Sugar molecules attach themselves to proteins in a process called glycation, producing what scientists call AGEs, advanced glycation end products. And trust me, the acronym says it all. AGEs make your eyes age faster. They cloud the lens, leading to cataracts. They damage the retina, leading to macular degeneration. They stiffen the blood vessels, reducing circulation and starving your vision cells. Now here's where timing comes back in. A lot of people think, oh, I don't eat that much sugar, just a little dessert after dinner. But that's the worst time, because if your blood sugar spikes before bed, your insulin has to work overtime to bring it back down. And insulin, while it's busy cleaning up sugar, interferes with melatonin, your sleep hormone. That means not only do your eyes get sugar damage, but you also rob them of the deep, restorative sleep they need for repair. Double whammy. And don't think fruit juice is innocent either. A glass of orange juice before bed? That's essentially liquid sugar, hitting your bloodstream faster than a candy bar. Without the fiber of the whole fruit, your blood sugar shoots up, insulin spikes, melatonin drops, and your eyes pay the price. This is why seniors who snack on sweet treats before bed often complain of blurry vision in the morning. It's not age, it's sugar sabotage. Let's get into the biology of the retina for a moment. The retina has photoreceptors, rods, and cones that are constantly turning over their outer segments. Every single night, they shed old parts and rebuild new ones. That process requires stable blood flow, steady delivery of nutrients, and minimal oxidative stress. Sugar disrupts all three. It destabilizes blood vessels, starves the retina of oxygen, and increases the production of free radicals. That's why people with chronically high blood sugar have trouble with night vision. It's not just that their eyes are old, it's that their photoreceptors can't keep up with the nightly repair cycle. Now, here's the good news. Blood sugar control isn't rocket science. You don't need to cut out all carbs, and you don't need to starve yourself. What you need is to avoid sugar spikes before bed. That means trading the cookie for a handful of nuts, swapping the ice cream for Greek yogurt, or choosing a piece of cheese instead of chocolate cake. These foods provide fat and protein, which slow digestion and keep your blood sugar stable through the night. Stable blood sugar equals calm, nourished eyes. Even better, there are foods that not only prevent sugar spikes, but actively protect your eyes. For instance, cinnamon has compounds that improve insulin sensitivity. A sprinkle of cinnamon in an evening smoothie can help blunt the blood sugar rise. Vinegar. Yes, vinegar before a meal reduces post-meal glucose by up to 30%. Imagine pairing a small salad with olive oil and vinegar at dinner. You've just given your eyes a shield against sugar stress. And here's something most people don't know: even hydration matters. Dehydration makes blood sugar levels look higher because your blood is more concentrated. So if you go to bed dry and snack on sugar, your blood sugar spike is amplified. A simple glass of water with an unsweetened evening snack can make a world of difference for your vision. Here's the bottom line. Sugar before bed is like throwing a party in your bloodstream when your body's trying to sleep. The noise, the chaos, the mess, it all lands on your eyes. Over time, those delicate structures can't keep up, and your vision deteriorates faster than it should. But if you choose foods that stabilize blood sugar, you're giving your eyes the peace and quiet they need to rebuild themselves every night. So when I say blood sugar control protects eyes, I don't mean it as vague health advice. I mean literally, your eyesight depends on keeping sugar out of your nighttime routine. You can't stop birthdays from adding up, but you can stop sugar from aging your eyes decades ahead of schedule. Let me start with a simple observation. Your eyes are mostly water. The tear film that coats the surface of your eyes, water. The vitreous gel inside your eyeball that keeps its shape, mostly water. Even the cornea, the clear window at the front, depends on proper hydration to stay transparent. Without water, your vision blurs, your eyes sting and your focus goes fuzzy. Yet most seniors walk around mildly dehydrated and then wonder why their eyes feel like sandpaper when they wake up in the morning. Now here's the kicker. Eye hydration isn't just about sipping water during the day. Timing, once again, matters. If you go to bed dry, your eyes are going to pay the price all night long. Sleep is when tear production naturally slows down. Your eyelids close, reducing airflow, but your body's lubrication system is still working in the background. The catch is, if you're dehydrated, there's simply not enough fluid available to keep your cornea moist. That's why you wake up rubbing your eyes, reaching for drops, or squinting at the blurry alarm clock. But hydration is more than just drinking water. Your body is an electrical system, and water is only half the equation. The other half is electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium. Without these minerals, the water you drink doesn't stay where it's supposed to. It leaks out of your cells and into places it doesn't belong. Think of electrolytes as the locks and gates that keep water inside your eye cells, maintaining that delicate balance of pressure and lubrication. Now, what happens if that balance is off? Two major things: dry eyes and high intraocular pressure. Dry eyes, you already know, scratchy, irritated, red, but high intraocular pressure is more insidious. That's the pressure inside the eyeball that, if it builds up, can lead to glaucoma. And guess what drives up that pressure? Poor hydration combined with electrolyte imbalance. If the fluid inside the eye can't circulate properly, waste builds up, pressure rises, and the optic nerve takes the hit. So let's bring this back to bedtime. What you eat and drink before you go to sleep determines whether your eyes will glide through the night comfortably hydrated or whether they'll spend 8 hours drying out and straining under pressure. A glass of plain water before bed can help, yes, but it's even better if it's paired with the right foods. Think about foods like cucumber, celery, watermelon, water-rich and packed with minerals, or a small serving of yogurt with a pinch of sea salt and some berries. That way, you're not just flooding your system with water, you're delivering the electrolytes that hold it in place. And here's where fat comes into play. Tears aren't just water, they're a three-layer system. There's a watery layer, but there's also an oily layer on top that prevents evaporation, and a mucin layer that helps tears stick to the surface of your eye. If you're dehydrated, that watery layer thins out. But if your diet is also lacking in omega-3 fatty acids, that oily layer is weak too, and your tears evaporate before they can do their job. That's why seniors who don't eat fish or nuts often complain of dry eyes even when they drink water. The hydration system requires all the parts to work together. Let's make this real. Picture two different evenings. One person eats salty crackers and drinks a glass of wine before bed. The salt pulls water out of their cells, the alcohol acts as a diuretic, and they wake up parched with burning eyes. The other person eats a few slices of cucumber, a handful of walnuts, and drinks a glass of water. They've just given their eyes hydration, electrolytes, and healthy fats. They wake up with eyes that feel fresh, not fried. Same age, same bedtime, very different morning. And don't underestimate how small habits add up. If you go to bed mildly dehydrated every night for years, that chronic dryness inflames the surface of the eye. Inflammation damages the corneal nerves and reduces tear production even further, a vicious cycle. But if you go to bed hydrated night after night, you're not only preventing discomfort, you're protecting the long-term integrity of your cornea, tear glands, and optic nerve. Here's another little-known fact. Hydration even affects how clearly you see. The cornea is like a perfectly clear lens, but it can only stay transparent if it's evenly hydrated. Too dry and it swells irregularly, scattering light and blurring your vision. That's why some seniors notice halos around lights at night or wake up with foggy eyesight. It's not just old age, it's dehydration changing the optics of your eye. So what's the takeaway? Don't just think of water as something you drink when you're thirsty. Think of it as medicine for your eyes. And don't just gulp a bottle of water at noon and call it a day. Space it out and make sure your last drink, paired with electrolyte-rich foods, comes before bed. That way, while your eyes are in their nightly repair cycle, they have the hydration and lubrication they need to rebuild, refresh, and keep your vision clear. Bottom line, hydration isn't glamorous, but it's essential. It's the simplest, cheapest, most overlooked tool for protecting your eyesight as you age. Seniors don't lose their vision overnight. They lose it drip by drip from years of small, preventable choices. Keep your eyes watered, keep them nourished, and they'll serve you faithfully long after you've blown out the candles on your 80th birthday cake. There's a story most of us have been told that aging is just a downhill slide. Your memory fades, your joints ache, and your vision goes blurry. Doctors tell you it's just part of getting older, but that story isn't entirely true. Yes, aging is real, you can't stop time, but the rate of aging, especially in your eyes, is far more under your control than you've been led to believe. And one of the simplest levers you can pull is what you eat before bed. Let's focus on your eyes. Two of the most common problems seniors face are cataracts and macular degeneration. Cataracts are the clouding of the lens, like a dirty window. Macular degeneration is damage to the central part of the retina, the macula, which lets you read, recognize faces, and drive. Both of these conditions are considered age-related. But here's the truth. They're not caused by the number of birthdays you've had. They're caused by cumulative damage, oxidative stress, inflammation, poor circulation that slowly builds up. And every night, your eyes either fight back against that damage or let it pile higher. The deciding factor: what nutrients are in your bloodstream when the repair crew shows up. Think about macular degeneration. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the slow breakdown of the retina's ability to handle stress. Every day, your eyes are bombarded with light and oxygen, producing free radicals. Every night, your eyes try to repair that damage. If you've supplied them with the right antioxidants, fatty acids, and minerals before bed, the repairs are done well, the retina is reinforced, and the aging process slows down. If you haven't, the repairs are sloppy or incomplete, and the damage accumulates. Over months and years, that's when age-related vision loss appears. Not because you're old, but because your body wasn't given the tools to keep up. Now let's look at cataracts. The lens of your eye is a perfectly clear protein structure, designed to bend light without distortion. But proteins are fragile. They can get oxidized, glycated, or clumped together. That's what makes the lens cloudy. And here's the kicker. This doesn't just happen with age. It happens when antioxidants run low and sugar runs high. Studies show that people with higher intake of vitamin C, vitamin E, and carotenoids develop cataracts later, or sometimes not at all. In other words, the lens can protect itself, but only if you supply the raw materials. What better time to supply them than right before your eyes enter their nightly repair cycle? Here's an analogy. Imagine your eyesight as a brick wall. Every day, a few bricks crumble from the weather. Every night, the repair crew shows up to replace the missing bricks. If you feed them cement, bricks, and tools, the wall stays strong. If you feed them donuts and soda, they show up empty-handed and the gaps get bigger. 10 years later, one wall is solid, the other is collapsing. That's the difference between healthy aging and age-related decline. Now, some people will say, but I take supplements during the day. Fine, but remember what I said earlier, timing matters. The nightly repair cycle is when your eyes need those nutrients most. That's why an intentional evening snack rich in lutein, zeaxanthin, omega-3s, and vitamins can be more powerful than a morning multivitamin. You're aligning your nutrition with your biology. Let me give you an example. Picture two seniors, both 70 years old. One eats a bowl of ice cream every night before bed. The other eats half an avocado and a handful of spinach blended into a small smoothie. 10 years later, the first one has cloudy cataracts and trouble reading fine print. The second is still driving at night and reading the newspaper without magnifiers. Same genes, same age, totally different outcomes. Why? Because one fueled decline, the other fueled repair. Here's something else we need to talk about. Inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is like a slow fire smoldering inside your eyes. It damages the retina, the lens, the optic nerve. And the foods that drive inflammation, refined sugar, processed oils, late-night junk snacks, are the very foods most people eat before bed. On the flip side, foods that quench inflammation, omega-3s from fish or walnuts, polyphenols from berries, carotenoids from leafy greens, are rarely part of an evening snack. This is why diet can make aging brutal or graceful. And don't forget sleep quality. If your blood sugar is spiking and your insulin is high, your melatonin is suppressed, your sleep is shallow, and your eyes don't get the deep recovery they need. But if your blood sugar is stable and you've delivered nutrients at the right time, you're stacking the deck in favor of repair. That means slower decline, not just in your vision, but in your whole body. So here's the bottom line. Aging is inevitable, but decline is optional. Your eyes are not programmed to fail at 65 or 70. They're programmed to keep working if you give them the right support. Seniors who eat strategically before bed, hydrating foods, antioxidants, omega-3 vitamins, are literally buying themselves more years of clear vision. Not because they've found a magic pill, but because they've respected their biology. Slowing age-related decline isn't about denying age. It's about deciding whether you'll age with clarity or in a blur. The choice is in your kitchen, on your plate, and especially in that last bite you take before sleep.